Hello, good afternoon. It is 1:27 p.m. California time, Sunday. I appreciate all the followers. I appreciate everything. I appreciate, you know, your participation. And I couldn't do the live presentation yesterday, but here I am today. I know for many of you guys, I like to mention this all the time because I just want to make sure that people from Asia, Africa, some other continents and other countries, which is a quite few, that has been following me and checking out this live presentation. I want to say thank you. I want to say I appreciate very much the sacrifice and determination. We are here to talk about many other things or many things we think that it's important. So feel free to give your opinion, share, whatever thoughts you may have about what's going on this country, on the planet, and everything else. Hello, Dave. I appreciate. Hi. Thank you for stopping by. So I don't have to tell you there is a lot of things going on right now throughout this planet, right here in the United States. By the way, I'm broadcasting this from California, United States. I am on a Pacific time, which is 1:29 p.m. 1:29 p.m. California time, United States. I appreciate very, very much all of you guys stopping by, thumbs up, and subscribing and sharing this channel. I have tons of videos out there, and I mean it. Probably it's on a thousands already, over 1,000 for sure. So you guys can check it out if you want. 6, 7, okay. Thank you. I appreciate. Thank you. Hi. Hello. So, yes, if you guys want to know anything about California, if you want to know anything about what's going on here in the United States, I'll promise that I'll give you accurate information, the best of my knowledge and understanding. And you just check my channel, you're going to find out, okay? Hector is, all right? Just check it out, subscribe, you're going to find out about me. Thank you. So anyway, here we are. Hold on, let me take one down already. Using bad words. By the way, I want to take the opportunity to tell these folks that is stopping by, you are absolutely welcome with your opinion, welcome with your thoughts, but respect to everybody is unconditional. So my channel is out there. You can stop by if you want. If you don't want, you don't have to. But we're here to talk, a good talk, and share concerns and ideas and opinion about anything pretty much, almost anything at least. So feel free to participate. And if you're from other countries, I appreciate again. Okay, take care, my man. I appreciate. Thank you for stopping by, all right? So anyway, we have a lot going on throughout this planet right here in the United States. We have a war going on. We have all this crazy stuff out there. So, and let's see what's going to happen. But I hope it's not going to get worse. Every time I think it's going to get better, it gets worse. So I hope it doesn't get worse. Thank you so much for everybody's out there. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for checking my channel. Thank you for checking my videos. And a heads up, also I am on Instagram, COTodd63, COTodd63. You guys can check it out, check the videos, and participate if you want to. So anyway, here we are. Right now is 1:32 p.m., 1:32 p.m. in California, United States. From here to New York, which is the Atlantic Ocean, the east coast of the United States, it's about 3 hours different, just right here inside of the country. So we got this time here, Pacific time, Mountain time, Central time, and Eastern time, okay? So anyway, feel free to ask anything and to share your thoughts. Just remember, have to be careful using your words, be respectful, and don't use profanity. I appreciate, okay? You can ask me anything, even on a personal level. If I'm gonna ask you or not, that's a different story, but you can ask. You can ask about the United States, what are my views on it, on what's going on right now. So anyway, we can talk about a lot of different things, okay? And if you check my videos, you're gonna see, you're gonna understand pretty much where I stand, where I'm standing on when it comes to politics, religion, and everything else. It is a good idea for you to check it out if you want to. Most of the posts, actually one of my last posts, I kind of stated that I don't like to quote anything. What I normally do is share what it's already out there. It's not, I would say at least 99% is not stuff that I wrote, but it's stuff that somebody did, and some posts that I find, if I find some kind of interest, idea, or important to look at, that's what I do. I select those posts and share with you guys. That's pretty much what I do, okay? So, yes, right now it's 1:34 p.m. right here in California, and weather-wise, it's pretty nice. Today we're gonna be in the 80s, high 80s probably, so temperature is very pleasant. We are pretty much around the corner when it comes to spring, so temperature is very nice. I didn't hear much about winter, kind of heavy snow and stuff around the country, so it looks like it's gonna be nice for the next few days. Hello, Blub Blub. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Hello, hi. Thank you for stopping by, guys. Thank you for India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and many other Asian countries that always stop by to say hello and participate. So I appreciate that. Okay, thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for subscribing. And remember, we are here in California. If you have any question, it's your moment. It's time to ask. If you want to share any concern, here I am. We can talk about things here, okay? And yeah, you feel free to, share your thoughts, opinion, and questions. Thank you so much. Hello, peace be upon you. Thank you. I appreciate. Same to you. All right? It has been crazy. Everything is kind of upside down. And, who knows what's going to happen next. But things is getting really complicated. By the way, thanks for stopping by and saying hello and, sharing your opinion. And here we are. Politics is going to be very interesting, at least this year, because we are in a midterm election, and you know, this economy situation. By the way, speaking of economy, gas price, fuel is going up. So for those who don't want to understand how this plays in politics, let me tell you something. Every year, every election year, when it comes to politics, elections, economy normally is the topic number one. So just make sure that you understand that you know, economy is going to be the top priority for voters. So it's going to be interesting to see the outcome because of that. And now we also have the what we call the immigration. The topic, it's pretty hot too. So yeah, so this is the two topics that is really broiling, and perhaps it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen. It is expected to affect the elections when it comes to voters, because it looks like things is not doing too well. So let's see what's going to happen. For those who don't know, in the United States, there is two major parties that determine the end of, or the fate of the people of the United States, which is the Republican Party and Democrat Party. Republican are current in power right now. You know, they do have pretty much the executive branch. They have the judiciary and the legislative branch. So, but things, according to many experts, are not doing too well. But let me just say this. This year, you cannot really bet on anything. There is many possibilities, and folks are even talking about that we may or may not have election this year. So very skeptical, the public and experts, because every day is a new bad news. So bad news is part of the situation right now, and but it's not only one, it's always something. You know, we have investigations, we have a lot of things going on at the same time, so let's see what's going to happen. For a guy like me right now, who really don't trust either party, we also have the independent party, but they don't play a big role on the election. They do play a little bit, but it's not like, wow, you know. And used to, I don't even know anymore, the elections for president, for instance, was always a kind of a small margin of error. Normally it was double digit, but on a 10 to 15% for one or the other party. But now we don't know. And on the past, the minority always decided the fate of the candidate, like Hispanics, African Americans. They don't like to be called black, by the way. So those people, they used to decide elections here, and they still do. I don't know anymore. I don't know what's going on. Nobody really knows. The traditional media, you cannot trust on the numbers that they are presenting. Either or, I'm not saying they're in favor of this or that. I'm just saying that, you know, it's very confusing when it comes to information. We don't have information anymore. like used to. We have propaganda, you know, by many news stations, and this is how it plays. And to be fair, of course, the same thing is going on a social media, like this channel, other channels. Some are worse than others, but this is what we do here. We share our opinion. The owners of everything, including communications, they decide whether they let you go further down on the conversation or not. They can find a reason to take you down easily. So I'm just trying to say this, for those who believe on freedom of speech, think again. There is a little bit of freedom of speech until you don't hurt somebody's power or influence. Somebody with power. So just in case. Because you and me, we're not that somebody. We are just you and me. Right? I am glad, for still have the opportunity to be here and talking to a few of you. But it's not gonna be something that it's gonna happen forever. I don't think so. That is a group who are controlling everything. They control everything. Communications, entertainment, politics. They control what you see. They even create situations to make you think in a certain direction, to make you feel in a certain way, and to like or dislike certain things. That's what they do. They manipulate the entire communication information system. That's how it works. Am I complaining? Maybe, maybe not, because I hate to use this. I don't like the word hate, so I'm gonna change that. But I don't really like to say these words, to use these words, but it is what it is. Power controls everything, money controls everything, influence controls everything, communication system controls everything. It took me some years telling something. I didn't know that. I didn't know. Now I kind of know how it works. So it's up to me to say, well, let's see how far we can go with this and hope for the best, because one thing people like to say sometimes is true, sometimes it's not, okay? Which is, nothing is forever. I'm not really sure about that. Maybe the word forever is the checking word, maybe, perhaps, but the thing is, certain things when it comes to this planet, it has been here, has been around for thousands of years. And those certain things are power, money, influence, politics, religion. They all work hand to hand. They are really coordinate. It looks like they like each other somehow. They can't trust in each other, but somehow they get along. So next time you stop to think about, you stop your train and say, wait a minute, man, let me see what's going on here, right? So let me just help you out. I'm not sure, probably there is not much we can do about it, all right? which is about power, money, influence, and etc. Now we have entertainment, communications, news network, and a bunch of other social media, etc. But they are still on the top of those things. You know, look what happened to TikTok. What happened to TikTok was tragic because before it was like over a year ago or so, maybe almost 2 years now, it was like a hope. Like, man, this TikTok channel, you can really say things and talk about things and pick whatever you want to pick and doing this and that. Now with this new ownership, man, TikTok just went like the opposite direction. So I don't know. And every day when I'm here on this platform, because TikTok took me down months ago, I lost about 800 plus followers there because I was not saying what they wanted me to say. I was not saying the way they wanted me to say, on and on. That's what happened to me there. So I lost everything in there, hard work, I don't know, maybe over a year or more. But today, sincerely, openly, I tell you, I'm glad it did happen. Because when I heard about what's going on right now on TikTok, I'm glad that I'm not there. Because it became a nightmare. TikTok became a nightmare. Every time I post something politically incorrect for them, they took down my video, they suspend my account, they did this, they did that. Thank goodness I still had a time to post a video warning my followers, mainly saying, look, they're gonna take me down. And they did. So, but now, I don't know, I just kind of glad they did. So I'm just saying I'm talking about controlling communication, who controls the rhetorical, the, the fact, or whatever, they want you to be on it. It's not going to be different here. It's not going to be different. Instagram is absolutely controlling my communication there too. I think they already know that I know what's going on there. They took my live presentations there, they took out and create this rule that, oh, now you can do this, can do that, whatever. So, but I can feel and see the manipulation on Instagram. So I still think that one of these days they're gonna take me down there too. I hope I'm wrong. I really am, because what I'm trying to do here and all the other platforms, it just inform people like it is. Tell them what it is like it is. That's it. And YouTube, I can feel that they're doing the same. They're reducing my viewers, and it is nasty. It is frustrating, but that's how they do things. If you want to be well succeed, I know people talk about this all the time. If you want to be well succeed on this platform, Instagram, and many others out there, you can be political. And I say this, I am very surprised when I see all these publications, those videos out there, Carson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and some other political figures, saying like it is. And every time I say, man, how these people are still around, because they're saying a lot of things that those folks who have the power, don't like it. But they're still there. So when it comes to this Epstein file thing, I'm gonna tell you something, folks. For those who are still hoping that something is going to happen about these Epstein files, charade, circus, show, think again, because I post something out there. Check it out, you may find it where about it, okay? There is a few things that it's reality. I'm not gonna say for dozens of years or hundreds of years. I'm gonna say for thousands of years, okay? And which is powerful people 99% of the time, at least 90+% of the time. I'm guessing it's 99. Okay? Powerful people, influential people, people who got the power to influence, people who got money. When I say money, I'm talking about billionaires and up, okay? Billionaires, trillionaires, corporations, people who really dictate the fate, our destination, our destiny, or whatever you want to call. These people do not go to jail. And I'm going to go tell you this. If you don't know yet, jail, prison, this is for poor people like you and me and below. Jail and prison was not created to incarcerate rich people, millionaires, billionaires, and trillionaires. I hope you realize that, okay? So don't create false expectation. I'm talking about now the Epstein file, right? Do not think that something different is gonna happen. Morality will prevail, justice. Well, justice maybe for one reason. Laws mainly, although they say something different, okay? Powerful people like to say that it's different, but no. Law, justice is for the little guys. It's not for big people. I'm just telling you guys like it is. Yeah, you're gonna hear some here and there. Like I said, remember the numbers that I gave you, 90+%, maybe 10%, 5%, somewhere here and there for probably a different reason, may end up in jail. Okay? But soon enough, they're gonna get out if they don't die before, you know. I'm surprised that a couple of guys are still out there alive. You know, the Assange guy, the other guy that is in Russia, I believe he's already got his Russian citizenship now. These are guys who expose the system, how it is. And that guy from Australia was like, man, I can't believe this guy got out of this alive. Maybe it's too soon. I don't know. But the reality is, when it comes to power, you folks need to understand this. You know, that is a hand or two hands full of people who are in control of everything. I'm serious. I'm not joking. This is not a conspiracy theory. But when it comes to real power, universal, not universal, but this is an expression that I think is wrong, brought, you know, around the planet, dozens of people, a handful of people are in control of everything. That's reality. I don't know what you're going to do about it, but that's the reality. Maybe you shouldn't do anything about it, because I don't know, I don't want to say this way because I know it's disappointing, it's painful, emotionally, morally speaking. But I'm not sure if people like you and me can do anything about what's going on right now. This war, those powerful people controls. You know, and any other war is to satisfy power. It is about money. It is about oil, energy, generally speaking. And if you're not aligned with these big, powerful people from here or European countries, but that's where they are. You know, I know you folks are going to think about and say, well, you know, the Arab countries, some of those wealthy nations, they are, you know, with the powerful people too. I think you're right, mistakenly so. Why? Because they are not part of the group, but they want to believe they are. Because they think, this is me trying to think how they think. They think that by acting the way they're doing, like giving the powerful people, you know, power in their countries, they're gonna be their friends. So because they're friends, they're not gonna attack them one day. This is a huge mistake because they're not part of the agenda. It's a matter of time. Somebody is gonna go down from there. Because I don't think these people, they care about Middle East power besides Israel, actually. Because Israel is the voice, is the idea, is the power of the Western civilization. That's about it. You know, and we all know how far Israel wants to get. I'm not here criticizing really, and I'm going to tell you why, because this is just fact. You know, I'm just talking about what is already out there for everybody to see it. You know, and when you bring religion to this, then it becomes a nasty conversation. Because when religion goes through one door, intelligence leaves through another door. Intelligence and religion cannot be together. The attack, the devastation attack on intelligence is caused by religion. And that's why we are in this big mess right now. Those big movements caused by evangelical Christians, some other religion that I cannot mention because they are very powerful. I don't want to get in trouble with them. But you guys know. So, there. So this 2030, that's the project they're talking about. The new order to reestablish or establish, I don't think it's going to happen. New order, it's just the same order with new faces, new geopolitical faces. But if you notice, you know, Germany, France, England, United Kingdom, in the United States, Israel, they are the brain of this operation. It's going to be horrible for humanity, but nothing new. This is the point that I'm trying to make today. Nothing new. Okay? It's going to be the same old, you know, thing. Just trying to measure my words here. And that's it. Nothing new. You know, let me see if I can share this. I'm going to share here. All right, I'm back. Sorry, folks. So anyway, You know, the train is heading for collision, and it is something. You know, one interesting thing that I've noticed about it's like how unified those evils are. They are really unified. I hope the good one was as unified as they are. They know what they want and they are fighting. You know, they call fighting, but it's something else. You know, here in the United States, we now but finally, we are finally facing a reality that the idea is the white power must prevail. That's how they see, that's how they do. And one thing this administration did pretty well in comparison to the other ones is that they're not hiding anything. This government promised certain things, and guess what? They are following through. Everything that they spoke about and a little bit more, they are enforcing right now. And then there is these people here that say, no, this is not the real America. We're not this. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Some of us didn't want it, you know, be as transparent as this government is right now, but it is what it is. You know, they're not willing to give the white power to a different way or system of government. No matter what, okay, I appreciate you, but we white people, we need to be in power. That's how it is, and that's what it is. But the thing is, there is a group of people here that controls everything, right? They don't really necessarily are the Caucasian people, like they like to be called, but they think they're even superior than the Caucasian ones. So that's when things gets complicated in the United States. It's because of that. There is a group of people, the white power people, and there is a group of people that the white power people don't know, or they didn't figure out, maybe some did, but very few, that this other group, they consider themselves above everybody else. And that's what they're doing now. Are they gonna go into collision? I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe not. Because they have pretty much the same agenda. It's just that the other ones up there, you know, want to get to the point that God told them and that God is rewarding them. So other than these guys, I'm sorry, there is this huge religious group, you know, evangelicals, and they think that Jesus is white. Well, at least they act like it. You know, they don't accept the fact that Jesus was Palestinian guy. So he was not like Western kind of color figure guy. So that's what it is now. And because of these actions, They are doing this huge favor for this huge religious movement. I'll let you guys figure out what is it that I'm talking about. End of the day, although they're not accepted by this other group, they think they are. But if they get to the end with victory, they're gonna find out in a harsh way that evangelical is not part of their plan. But their help is pretty welcome right now. I was listening to something in the morning in a news radio this morning about black church, white church, whatever here in the United States. And every time I hear this kind of talk, it really makes me sick to my stomach. Because these people really believe that Jesus and God is talking to them. You know, the black church, most of the time now, they kind of, in my opinion, of course, segregate themselves. White church does the same. When you see a white supremacist church, they are really segregating themselves. It's just like how segregation works. I'm gonna give you more or less idea how I see. This is a former religious guy talking right now, okay? I'm not anymore. But this is how it works. If you believe in God and Jesus, right? Judaism, I don't think they do the same. I'm not sure. You got me on this one. But speaking of evangelicals, and evangelicals like to call themselves Christians. How far from the truth that statement is? They have no idea what Christianism is. But anyway, so when they pray, I always think about it, okay? I have the impression, listen to this, okay? I'm talking about segregational gospel, okay? Or religion. I always think about it because I was like, this is very confusing, right? So when a black man, I'm sorry, you like to be called African American, when he prays, if he is praying for God and Jesus, I'm assuming, okay? And that gets complicated now. They're, oh God, this, in heaven, whatever, Jesus, whatever. I start to think, and I go, maybe Jesus is white. How about God? Well, God said that Jesus said that he's the image of God. Oops. There is so many things we can talk about this now, but I go, And then I go to the white church, evangelicals, right? And I think, there they are, praying for God. And I think that they're imagining that God is white. And Jesus is white too. Can't be black. So that's where the segregation church confuses me a lot. Because they have the black church, African American church. They have a lot of faith in Jesus and God. But that God is white. But they did segregate themselves, or was segregated by the white ones, maybe in the beginning, I can't really say, by the same God. Confusing, isn't it? And God is listening to them, hearing them, and but the, but God, Jesus, is white. Well, he's not racist. Neither God is racist. I don't understand that part. Do you? I need to learn more about that. Look, I was a religious person for decades until one day I had to face the truth, at least my own truth, that this isn't right. This is not right. This is one of the reasons, or a few of the reasons why I don't like religions. Well, from what I've seen, I'm not sure how racist the other religions, the main ones I'm talking about, okay? Just the main ones. Judaism, Muslims, so-called evangelicals, they like to be called Christians. I don't think so, but whatever you say. But when it comes to Judaism and Muslim, I have the feeling that they are racist too. From what I've seen on the scriptures, Old and New Testament, Muslim, from what I've seen, because they are very strong in African countries and Asia now, looks like they are more inclusive religion. Maybe I'm wrong, but still, I can feel racism on it. Oh my goodness, Judaism the same. Well, Judaism are a very selective religion. I don't really care because to me, like I said, religion is all bad. But if you want to say or thinking about saying that your religion are not racist, think again. Well, you're going to see some evangelicals now, here and there, when it comes to what they call sexual behavior, sometimes because what I read, I see out there, I can have the feeling that maybe Judaism is more inclusive. Hello, da. You came too late, man. 10 minutes, okay? Thank you for stopping by. Well, I'm teaching, I don't know if I'm teaching, I don't like the word teaching. I'm sharing information from my understanding. And if you are, evangelical religious guy, maybe you're not gonna like what I'm talking about now. My apologies. So my problem with the racism, stereotyping in religion, it's not a huge thing because end of the day, religion it's an institution, okay? If you look at religion as an institution, you're going to understand this. Like any other institution, they have their guidelines, what they like, what they don't like, what they believe, what they don't believe. I understand. Thank you. No problem. Thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to the thumbs up and subscribe, folks, please, and share. So anyway, now we're having this situation, about sexuality and religion. The Pope, according to what I was reading this week, he came firm on the marriage between man and woman. I personally think religion as institution, they have to survive. And the survival of religion is money and power. That's simple, okay? And don't even go around that. Catholic Church is still have a lot of say when it comes to politics. But the Catholic Church, if you notice, they dance this music to satisfy Judaism as a, historical religion, millennium religion. So, but the thing is, it seems to me that the inclusionism, if that is word for that, it's about power and controlling. And I'm already seeing a lot of religion, the small ones, some not too small, already saying, hey, look, you are all welcome here. If you're homosexual, if you transsexual, whatever situation you're in, you are absolutely welcome in my church. That's a good behavior for business, I'm saying. But when it comes to dogmatic behavior and doctrine, it's going to be a problem. But that's okay too. You know why? Because they are trying to go after numbers. All right, let me pause this and answer my friend ... 1945. What do you think? We will face 3 world war? Well, I think we are already in. It's just shaping and reshaping the situation. We can talk for day and night about the arguments, the reasons, this and that. War always have bad reasons. But it is about power, geopolitical, and they also are talking about, behind the scenes, the new order. That's the expression they're using now. But I think we should watch what's going on. North Korea, China, Russia. You can say Turkey, but Turkey, you cannot trust in Turkey in anything. Turkey is like, man, wow. Lebanon, oh my goodness, what a disaster. I was thinking about this morning, I was thinking about, poor people of Lebanon. They don't have a government. Oh, they say they do. But these are countries you cannot trust them for anything. Israel knows that. Turkey, that president, he makes a lot of noise, but he's not a man of action. He's money talk and power talk. You can say some people are crazy. I normally say this about being crazy or not. I normally tell this about crazy people. Look, if you see someone tearing up the $100 bills in front of you and throwing you on the ground, you better start running. This guy is crazy. So these guys, governments out there surrounding, Iran, you cannot trust neither or. And this is stupid because I see what the Emirates, Arab country, Dubai, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. Oh my goodness! So this guy is all about money and power, but they're making a mistake. It's not because this or that are good or bad, but some of these countries, Western civilizations, are telling them that they're different. That's why they love them. Trying to find a polite word for that, I can't find it. But it's not too smart, And some of them are complaining, look, Iran is bringing bombs to our country, this, and we're a peaceful country. Really? You have, American bases in your countries, dude. You are enemies. For Iran, I'm talking about. So, but let me tell you something, folks. Stupidity, ignorance is the number one causes of, number two causes of destruction. I'm not joking, I'm serious. If you go through history, even religious history, you will see the act of stupidity and ignorance all the time. And they are hand to wars. They love wars. So, to your question, what I think we will face World War III, nothing is 100%. I just don't see why not right now. It will serve the purpose of this government here and the government of Israel for sure. And don't count on France, German, United Kingdom to be otherwise, because it's not going to happen. They're already offering their bases to defend themselves. The question is, you guys have to watch out and keep an eye on it, because this is the Strait of, what do they call Hormuz, whatever they call that place. That's gonna be the thing about this. So they're talking about the financial consequences that perhaps will bring those countries to reason, right? I don't think so. Because this is very much about that. And let me tell you something. I think you guys already noticed that the petroleum oil price is going up. Right here in the United States, depends where, about 20 to 30 cents a gallon of a dollar, okay? I am imagining that this is happening already in most of the countries out there. Now, I'll ask you this. These oil companies, they were already, before wars, they were very disappointed because the price of the crude was going down, remember? Alternative energy and other stuff was bringing down the price. They were not happy. And then we have these wars, the price is going up now. Oh yeah, but they're burning oil. Well, so what? It happened to Kuwait one time, remember? To Kuwait, whatever you call. So, as far as I'm concerned, this war is really serving the purpose of bringing the price up, which is pretty good to the Arab countries and some other oil producer, countries, even United States and Brazil for that matter. So this just depends how you. If you look, when you look to wars, and you're talking about peace or war, you're looking in different lenses. That is not really the scope of this war. It's just an economic and power, right? So now, the thing now is this: what China, Russia, and North Korea is going to do about it? I've seen some talks, whether it's true or not, I don't know, because we have another problem, which is an instrument or weapon of war. I don't know if you guys noticed that. That is the communication system. Media network, traditional media network, news, even social media platforms. They want to control, the direction of information on this. So make no mistake, folks. What we are using right now is a big part of the war, the communication system. So then comes another important question. So what? What you and me can do about it? I'm gonna give you a very, very short, straight answer. Absolutely nothing. There is nothing you and me can do about it. We can talk about it. It's gonna be almost like entertainment, information that can be used because now, if you're an alien from out of space that perhaps are already here for thousands of years or whatever, they talk about this all the time on a conspiracy theory, in videos out there. That's a different story. But even if they exist, let me just say something. They are doing a very poor job unless they are the bad guys who wants us to self-destroy everybody and leave the planet for them. I don't know. It's possible. Everything is possible. Why I cannot say that? If you guys out there believe in God, angels, Jesus, Allah, and etc. All the gods out there, with all due respect to you gods. But if you guys believe in this kind of shrink, why I cannot at least contemplate the possibility of aliens too? I'm not saying that I believe in this kind of thing because I don't believe in believing. I think science, oh my goodness, wow, science is doing a very, very poor job because they are tied to economics too. You know what I was thinking about science this today and yesterday? I was thinking, man, look, they've been talking about cancer for about 100 years or more. And they couldn't get the cure for that. Isn't that weird? And I was thinking about AIDS too, right? And I was like, man, AIDS, huh? Okay. Came in the early 80s, very early 80s. They still don't have the cure for that. So So I came to a very, very sad conclusion. Laboratory industries and pharmacy, mostly, they don't want cure for anything. Look at the big, big problem we had with the COVID-19. And that gave a few $1 trillion for some billionaires and trillionaires organizations like Pfizer and many others, Moderna and others. And this time they create like 3 vaccines, 4 vaccines. Folks. So unfortunately, looks like that human beings as a whole, there is a few good people out there, but it's not enough, to win this war between good and evil. There is not enough good people out there. But humanity as a whole, they are on the business of destructions, self-destructions, but they don't know that. Maybe they do and don't care. I don't know. Anyway, have a great day. We'll talk next